you a dairy producer? Or do you grow grapes, nuts, fruits, or vegetables? We have it all with American Vineyard, Pacific Nut Producer, California Fresh Fruit, California Dairy, and Vegetable West magazines. Subscribe for free now at malcolmmedia.com to stay current on the freshest news in your industry.
Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with American Vineyard Magazine, reporting to you from the Sonoma Grape Expo held at the Cloverdale Citrus Fairgrounds. American Vineyard Magazine hosted this event for hundreds of grape growers and PCAs who enjoyed a variety of industry exhibits featuring some of the latest technology available to growers, a complimentary breakfast and lunch, and a great lineup of industry speakers, including Roger Baldwin, wildlife specialist at UC Davis, who discussed key strategies in controlling pocket gophers in the vineyard.
So occasionally growers will have issues with pocket gophers. If you decide that you have a pocket gopher population that needs to be managed, there are several different tools that you have available. Regardless of the tools you use, we do recommend that you utilize an integrated approach, which basically means utilizing multiple techniques. We find much better success when you use multiple techniques, in large part because not all pocket gophers within a population are going to be equally susceptible to each one of the techniques that you might potentially use. So some of the gophers might be a little bit trap shy, so if you wanted to use traps to control the gopher population, certainly that's a good tool. But you might need to utilize something else as well to more effectively manage all of the individuals within that population. Now, as far as some of the tools that we have available, if it comes down to actually removing gophers from certain sites, trapping, the use of rodenticide baits and burrow fumigants tend to be most effective. For trapping has very high efficacy usually associated with it. We're looking at 80 to 90+% removal rates after a couple passes through a vineyard with trapping. So it's a very, very efficacious tool. It is a little bit more labor intensive than some of the other approaches out there, but it makes up for that to some extent due to the high efficacy associated with it. Other options include baiting. Of the baits that are out there, strychnine bait tends to be the most efficacious of the products. The other products haven't tested quite as well. Strychnine is difficult to come across, though there are limitations on supply. So if you can't come across strychnine, then obviously you might want to look at some of the other approaches instead. The other aspect with strychnine you really have to keep in mind is that gophers can develop a resistance to strychnine over time. So you don't want to rely exclusively on strychnine, you want to use it as just one part of an integrated approach. And then the burrow fumigants are another option that you have as well. With burrow fumigants you can use aluminum phosphide, such as phostoxin or fumitoxin, or you can use some of the carbon monoxide producing machines such as the PERC machine. Aluminum phosphide tends to be highly efficacious, usually looking at 85 to 100% efficacy of burrow systems treated with aluminum phosphide. So it is one of the better tools out there. It also happens to be one of the most restricted products that we have. So you have to be aware of some of the restrictions and limitations there. Also with these burrow fumigants, we need relatively high soil moisture for them to work, so you need to wait until you have relatively high soil moisture to use some of these burrow fumigants. The PERC machine is a pressurized exhaust approach that allows you to inject carbon monoxide into the burrow systems, and that can be a moderately efficacious tool. Probably 60 to 65% efficacy is what we're seeing with those devices. So not quite as good as some of the other approaches, but it does have the advantage of allowing you to treat up to 6 burrow systems at once. So you can move through some of these areas more rapidly when using the PERC machine. So just to reiterate, a combination of these approaches usually gives you better success when it comes to managing pocket gophers in a given area. Trapping, baiting, and burrow fumigation are usually the 3 best options that we have.
Thank you, Roger. Gain the full report of his presentation in the January issue of American Vineyard Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.